Imagine a world where a single drop of blood could diagnose any disease. Revolutionary, right? It would change healthcare forever, making testing faster, cheaper, and more accessible for everyone. But what if that promise was a lie? A lie so big it fooled billionaires, politicians, and the media. This is the story of Elizabeth Holmes, a Silicon Valley star who went from being the next big thing to one of the biggest frauds in history. How did she convince so many people that Theranos had developed a medical device capable of revolutionizing healthcare? And how did this multi-billion-dollar company crumble under the weight of a lie? The Rise of Theranos. In 2003, Elizabeth Holmes dropped out of Stanford and founded Theranos with a bold promise to change the way blood testing was done. By 2015, she was a billionaire. By 2022, she was convicted of defrauding investors out of hundreds of millions. In 2003, Elizabeth Holmes dropped out of Stanford University to follow her bold vision, revolutionize blood testing. She founded Theranos, a company that promised to change everything with a small device called Edison, capable of running dozens of tests from just one drop of blood. Holmes sold this technology as a game changer, one that would make blood testing faster, cheaper, and more accessible. Investors, doctors, and high-profile political figures bought into the vision, fueling Theranos' rapid rise. By 2014, the company had raised over $400 million, and Holmes was valued at $9 billion. At just 30 years old, she was hailed as the next Steve Jobs, the genius disrupting healthcare in the same way Apple disrupted technology. Theranos formed partnerships with major companies like Walmart, Safeway, and Walgreens. A healthcare revolution seemed within reach. The red flags ignored. As Theranos continued to grow, so did the questions. There were signs, red flags, that something wasn't quite right. The Edison device, which was supposed to revolutionize blood testing, wasn't working as promised. Early tests showed that the device couldn't consistently deliver accurate results. But instead of addressing these issues, Holmes and her team doubled down. They kept the problems hidden from the public and investors, even going so far as to manipulate test results to make it appear as though the device was functioning perfectly. The secrecy surrounding the company's operations was another warning sign. Theranos refused to let outsiders, including experts and regulatory agencies, see the technology behind their device. The company maintained tight control, preventing employees from talking freely and pushing back against anyone who questioned their methods. By 2015, as the company was valued at $9 billion, whistleblowers started to come forward. But the powerful network Holmes had built, including former secretaries of defense and top investors, shielded her from the scrutiny that would have otherwise brought the truth to light. Whistleblowers and the Exposé. By 2015, the cracks in Theranos were starting to show. While the company was still valued at billions, the truth about the Edison device was slowly leaking out. The first whistleblower was Tyler Shultz, a former employee and the grandson of former Secretary of State George Shultz, one of Theranos' board members. Tyler had witnessed firsthand how the company manipulated test results and hid the flaws in their technology. He tried to raise concerns internally, but his warnings were ignored. When he went public, Theranos tried to discredit him, even going so far as to threaten legal action. Despite this, Tyler pushed forward, knowing the truth had to come out. But it wasn't just Tyler. Erica Chung, another whistleblower, came forward with similar allegations. She had worked in the lab and saw the device's inaccuracies firsthand. Both Schultz and Chung provided crucial information to John Carrey, a journalist at the Wall Street Journal who had been investigating the company for months. In 2015, Carrey published an exposé that revealed the truth about Theranos' fraudulent practices. The article sent shockwaves through the media, exposing the company for what it was, a $9 billion scam. The Trial and Conviction. After years of deception, Elizabeth Holmes's world came crashing down. In 2018, federal charges were filed against her, accusing her of defrauding investors, doctors, and patients. The charges included wire fraud and conspiracy to commit fraud, and she was facing up to 20 years in prison if convicted. Holmes's trial began in August 2021, and the courtroom became the battleground where the story of Theranos was fully exposed. The prosecution painted Holmes as a manipulative figure who knowingly misled investors and patients for financial gain. They argued that she had lied about the capabilities of the Edison device, leading investors to pour millions of dollars into a company built on false promises. Holmes's defense, on the other hand, painted her as a well-intentioned entrepreneur who made mistakes but never intentionally deceived anyone. They claimed that she genuinely believed in her technology, and the failure of Theranos was due to unforeseen technical difficulties, not fraudulent actions. In January 2022, after weeks of deliberation, the jury found Holmes guilty of 3 counts of wire fraud and 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. She was sentenced in November 2022 to 11 years and 3 months in federal prison, marking the tragic fall of a once promising tech entrepreneur. The story of Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos is one of ambition, deception, and, ultimately, downfall. But it's also a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the dark side of Silicon Valley's hype culture. Theranos wasn't just a failure of technology, it was a failure of ethics. It showed how easy it is for people to get swept up in the excitement of a new idea, especially when it's backed by powerful investors, influential figures, and an endless stream of media attention. In the end, it's not just about what you promise, it's about delivering on that promise. We have a simple favor to ask. Only 41% of people watching this channel are subscribed. Our goal is 50%. So if you appreciate sharp, fact-based breakdowns of the fitness world, hit that subscribe button right now. And if this kind content is your thing, like this video, turn on notifications, and tell us who we should investigate next in the comments below.